You are watching the Dr. Angie Eugene Show, where we showcase leaders making an impact in our community. Now here's your host, Dr. Angie Eugene.
Hello everyone, I am sitting here with our Mayor Randy Toms. He's going to tell us a little bit about his vision for our great community, his passion, a little bit about his family, and all the other great things that's happening in this community of ours of Warner Robins, Georgia. The big town of Warner Robins, Georgia.
Big
Yes.
town of Warner Robins.
Yes.
It hadn't always been a big town, but it's a pretty big town now.
Yes,
so
we have grown leaps and bounds.
Yep. Well, I moved to Warner Robins in August of 1960.
Wow.
Which is the month and year I was born. So I've been here all my life.
Oh.
And certainly over the last 57 years, I've watched it change quite a bit.
Yes, do you remember when there used to be dirt roads?
I remember when a lot of the roads that people take for granted now, like Russell Parkway and some of Watson and all, used to be dirt roads. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember what it was like back in the 60s and the early 70s, but there's been a lot of change in 57 years, I can promise you that.
Okay.
So, but it's been exciting, and like I said, I grew up here, went to elementary school at one school, Westside Elementary School, and I went to what was called junior high at the time, at Tabor Junior High, and then to Northside High School, and that was all right here in Warner Robins, and it's been my life.
Okay, so did you leave it all and come back, or?
I went in the military for one
Okay.
term. I went out to Ogden, Utah, to Hill Air Force Base, and I was a bomb loader on F-16 aircraft, and I jokingly tell people when I finally realized I didn't want to do something that dangerous for the rest of my life, so I came back home and became a firefighter.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously something happened early in my life. I met this girl at Tabor Junior High, actually.
Wow.
And just was smitten with her right off the bat. She wouldn't have much to do with me because we were kind of different, a lot different. And so it was only after I moved to Utah that I started calling her and kind of telling her that I had grown up and I was a better person than I used to be, and she finally believed me. And then we got married in July of 1982, right after I got out of the Air Force, and this past July we celebrated 35 years of marriage. So it's phenomenal.
Wow.
It's phenomenal.
Wow. Yes.
And in the process, we had two children. We have a son that'll be 34 years old in November. Our daughter's 30 years old, and they're both married and have been for a number of years, and hopefully they'll follow our lead and stay married for a long time, and I think they will. They're both doing very well. My son has two children, and my daughter has three children, and so I tell everybody, too, that our grandchildren made our children seem very insignificant because we love them so much, but it's just a joke. I mean, obviously I love my family.
Oh, yes.
My dad's still alive and lives here in town. My wife's dad is still alive. Both our moms passed away back in 2013, and that was a pretty big blow because they were so instrumental in not just her life, but in my life as well. Both of our moms were just a big influence on our lives, and it's amazing to look around Warner Robins and start talking about what it was like to grow up here and have been here all your life, and talk about the people that have had that kind of influence on your life. But I'm blessed to have such a wonderful family. God has certainly blessed me. I grew up sort of a rebellious child. In fact, I put that, I wrote that in a book a few years ago, and talk about the challenges I had growing up, and then eventually we got married in July of '82, and in September of '82 I actually became a Christian, and my life just kind of I just never looked back. I want to serve God, and I want to serve my family, and I want to serve this community, and it's just, I tell people that I wish I could say that I grew up wanting to serve, but I didn't. It just kind of happened. I went in the Air Force because I needed to find some discipline. I needed to grow up, and it did start the process of growing up. And then when I came home, I got married. We had a child pretty quickly afterwards. We were married about a little over a year when we had our first child. About a year and 3 or 4 months when we had our first child, and I needed a job that was stable and that would give me the benefits and everything that I needed. And so I saw they were hiring firefighters, and I became a firefighter, and I worked for the fire department for 27, almost 27 and a half years, and it was a great career.
Yes.
I loved it, but I just kind of drifted into it. I didn't grow up wanting to be a fireman. I just became a fireman, and when I did, I found something in life that I was passionate about.
Yes.
And I loved every aspect of it. I loved helping people, and all firefighters, all law enforcement, public safety people, that's their driving force, is they love helping people, and they love being there at people when they have their deepest need. But I loved the aspects of actually, I always said I don't want anybody to have a fire, but if they are going to have one, have it while I'm on duty, because I love that aspect of it too. And even the science of fire. And I could go on and on talking about how exciting
Also
the fire service was. The brotherhood was incredible. I mean, you really do get to be around people, even in the brotherhood, even the other firefighters that I mean, you go through tough times when you see somebody die in your arms.
Yes.
You need each other to lift each other up and to get each other back to a place where you can provide that service the next time the call comes in. And so I grew up in that, and that was just my life. And so then when I decided to retire, I retired with the thought of continuing serving somehow.
Yes, yes. I can totally relate to that.
Yep. And then I just decided to run for mayor, and you're not asking any questions. I'm doing all the talking.
No, you are doing wonderful. Go ahead.
I have enjoyed being mayor for the last 4 years about as much as anything I've ever done, certainly as much as anything I've ever done as far as the job goes, because it puts me in touch with the people, and I get to connect with people that I never would connect with on a level where they need assistance.
Okay.
The people that that need something, I get to meet with them, and I get to try to help meet their needs. And sometimes that's a challenge, and sometimes those people are not happy, and they're not. It's not a pleasant experience. But at the same time, I know that they have a need.
Right.
And
You're the
do,
connector.
Right.
You connect from point A to point B.
Right. And I want to do what I can to help meet that need. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I like to be there even in that time of need. But then the people, what I talk about all the time, the intangibles, the people that I meet because I'm the mayor, that I never would have met any other way.
Right.
I mean, the base commanders over the last 4 years that I've been able to meet. Colonel Hill, that was here when I first took office, and he's gone on and become a general now, and I'm excited for his success. And Colonel King, and now Colonel Drew. It's to know those guys and to be able to spend time with colonels. I was just an enlisted person, and I never really got around officers too much when I was in the Air Force. But now to be able to do that, and a dear friend of mine is the general on the base now, and just to have a relationship with him and his family and spend time in his home, I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't a mayor. And so those are the intangible things that, I wouldn't have known you.
That's true.
If I hadn't have been the mayor, we probably never would have met. It would have been in passing, and it may or may not have meant anything, but because we had the opportunity to spend time together,
so many meetings and so many debates and so many.
Well, those are the things that I cling to, is the relationships.
Yes.
Because life to me is about relationships, and it's about getting to know people and helping each other get through the good and the bad times in life.
Yes. Yes. And this is an active mayor. I mean, all the meetings that I go to, most of you all know me as being a social butterfly, being out and about in the community. I mean, all the time, I see Mayor Tom's constantly out in our community.
Well, and a lot of people say that. They say, well, you're everywhere, and you're at every meeting, you're at every function, and then they eventually get to the point where they think it's a drudgery for me to do that, but it's what I love doing it. I love being there. I love learning about people, and I love learning about what's happening in our community.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, we have an awesome community.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we really do. There's certainly things that we still need to work on.
Yes.
And we'll never be fully satisfied. crime is something I'm never going to be satisfied with the crime rate no matter what it is.
Right.
And so we'll always be working on that. Blight, all the
Yes.
issues that get talked about during a campaign.
Yes.
Those are important issues.
Right.
But what we do well in the city of Warner Robins is what I take pleasure in. We have a great cooperative community that helps each other. We have, World Series Little League baseball teams.
Mm-hmm.
We have Miss America, who
Yes.
who I got to know. And on what planet would I ever get to know Miss America? And yet because I was the mayor, because she is from Warner Robins, I got a chance to know and be around her and her
Yes.
family,
Yes.
and that's been a joy.
Mm-hmm.
So I like talking about what Warner Robins does good.
Yes,
And,
I agree.
And we do have an awesome community of people. We have Claude Lewis in this community. The man that invented T-ball is right here in our community. He's 91 years old, and he's one of the most awesome people you could ever just sit and talk to. We have Colonel Crawford Hicks that he's 96 years old, and he lives right here, World War II veteran, both of them. And Colonel Hicks was a POW in Germany. And
Yes, I'm going to have the pleasure of meeting him. Yes.
To sit down and talk to those people.
Yeah.
General Seahorn, who was a POW in Vietnam. I mean, I was just with him the other night at a Young Marines camp, and it was phenomenal just to be able to be around those people.
Yes,
So
I agree.
Warner Robins has so much to offer.
Yes.
But we also have so much growth
Oh, yes.
that we're looking forward to. We have every belief that we're going to have a real downtown. It's going to take a while.
Yes.
The Georgia Municipal Association tells you that it takes 30 years to develop a real downtown. It's not going to take us that long,
No.
but it's going to take us some years to get there. And we've been laying the groundwork for building a real downtown in our community. Our parks and recreations, over the next couple of years, we're going to see. We've already seen it in some areas. We've seen Walker's Pond with the walking trail, and we still need to do some work there. Wellston Park with the dog park. That's a great facility, and it's being well used by many people in our community. Ada Lee Park is just a small little park just off of Pleasant Hill, South Pleasant Hill. It's a beautiful
A lot of the
little
locals
park.
don't know that we have all of these, amenities
And it's
here.
a beautiful little park with a brand new outdoor basketball court with a pavilion for a picnic area. It's a playground for the kids. I mean, it's a beautiful little park, and we just renovated it and had a ribbon cutting for it just last week. And Ada Lee Park is named after one of the icons of our community in the civil rights movement. And she, I think, I hope she don't get mad at me for saying this, but I think she's 93 years old, and she's still around, and you can still sit and talk to her and glean the wisdom from her that that not a lot of people get to do. And so those are the highlights of our community. Claude Lewis I mentioned him earlier. He was the Recreation Department Director. And hopefully he's going to see over the next couple of years our parks and recreations flourish. We're going to build a 4-court gymnasium on the north side of town to host basketball tournaments and our youth.
That's wonderful.
And volleyball tournaments and bring people to our community to help grow our economy. We're going to redo 8 fields over there near those fields of baseball and softball so that we can give our kids a chance to play. Hopefully we're going to partner with some of the other baseball and softball organizations to make it even flourish more. Then we're going to be able to host tournaments in here that's going to drive the economy even more. And all of those are funded through the SPLOST dollars. And we've got $20 million either already set aside or that we know is coming in through SPLOST. And it's going to be just a tremendous change in how we do business around here. I mean, there is so much to look forward to. Just today, I was talking to somebody that has a vision of bringing an entertainment and a sports training complex to our community. They're just trying to find out where. They have connections with NFL players and Major League Baseball players that want to build a training facility in Middle Georgia. Now, I don't know who all those contacts are, but they were really excited about it, and they're trusted people in our community.
Right.
So I really think over the next few years, Warner Robins is going to be so much better, and there's going to be so much change for the better that it's an exciting future look forward to.
So let's talk about a little bit of the events that we have here locally that some people may or may not know about.
Yeah.
So they do the air show
Right.
at the base. We have local events that people can get involved with, like giving away backpacks, school supplies. Of course, we're going to have tons of fall festivals coming up. So
we do, and we have certainly we have so many giving people in this community. You know, the backpack giveaways.
Yes.
They're a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yes,
you know, they have entertainment.
Myself and my organization, we are part
and
of it.
they're out there giving out
Yes.
1,500, 2,000
Yes.
backpacks. I mean, it's incredible. We just had. Just this past weekend, we had the Sacred Heart Fall Festival, the 60th Sacred Heart Fall Festival. 60 years they've been having it. And it was phenomenal. There was people everywhere. It was a great event, and it was a fun time to be a part of. There was another fall festival going on the other side of town. So some of them are big and some of them are small,
Right.
but they're all very much a part of the community. We have the Southeastern Little League right here in Warner Robinson, 2 weeks out of every year. We have tremendous baseball talent in our Little League, and get to watch, kids play from all over the state play Little League in our town, and we get to host that event, and that has a major economic impact.
Yes.
To the tune of about $2 million just for 2 weeks, the economic impact in our community. We have the Museum of Aviation.
Oh, yeah.
Which the city of Warner Robins supports financially in a really big way, especially through our hotel motel tax, because that brings 500,000 people to our community every year. It's the second largest Air Force museum in the nation, and it is a phenomenal facility. And the World War II hangar, the Vietnam hangar, I mean, and part of our history is made up in that museum as well. They just installed a General Rick Goddard's plane, and General Goddard doesn't live here anymore, but he was one of our base commanders at one time. And it was the actual plane that he flew in Vietnam. We've got a B-17 that they're renovating right now, which is not the plane, but it's one of the kinds of plane that Colonel Crawford Hicks flew and was shot down in over Germany. And so the history in the museum, and General Robert L. Scott his display is there, and he lived here in Warner Robins. And I mean, there's just so much to do here.
Yes.
And then the things that are growing, Rigby's Water Park is growing, and we don't really even know what all that's going to be. But we're going to have an amphitheater in the very near future. I mean, we've got SPLOST money set aside to build an amphitheater. The guys I was talking to today, they just told me the one they have up in North Georgia that is sponsored by Lady Antebellum was about $750,000 to build. We've got almost $1 million set aside for an amphitheater. So hearing that number from the Lady A amphitheater is pretty encouraging, because we can have that kind of presence right here in Middle Georgia. We're right off of 75. It's going to happen. There's a lot of exciting things going to happen in the future of Warner Robins, and I'm just excited to be a part of it.
Yes, I'm excited too. Well, you guys have heard from our mayor, Mayor Toms, about his family, about his roots here, his vision. He absolutely has passion for this community. He's grown up here all of his life. He is grounded here. His children are here. His grandchildren are here. So, I mean, we've covered a lot, which is wonderful.
We have, and the other thing, if I could real quick, is the thing that, is I've been there for families in this community through their very worst times and through their very best. A lot of people may or may not know, but I'm an ordained minister. Okay. And so I see, sometimes I get a chance to marry people, to officiate their weddings. And I did one just a few weeks ago of a very special young lady in my life. And she's actually in the Air National Guard here in town. And so that was exciting. But then I also get to preach funerals of people who have been pretty much legendary in our community, is some of the things I've gotten to do. But to be there for the families and be there at those times, it's been, Warner Robins is home.
Yes.
It's home to me, and it's where my family is, where we live here. This is it, and I'm never going to do anything to hurt this city, because I love this city. This city grew me up, and I think it's incumbent on us to turn around and pour back into the city that poured so much into us.
Yes, I agree.
That's what I'm about.
Wow. Okay. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So if people would like to get in contact with you, find out more about what's happening in our hometown, is there a website they can go to? Is there a phone number they can call?
Well, they can always call my office at
Okay.
478-302-5515, 478-302-5515. They can find me on Facebook. They can find me by my name, Randy Toms, or by Mayor Randy Toms. And if they have any questions for me, they can certainly ask me any questions they want to. I'd be glad to talk to any of them if they would like for me to come out and speak to any organization. I love going out and speaking, especially to young people, and letting them know to keep pushing in life, because life is sometimes hard and you got to push through. And I get a chance to do that a lot. So any organization that would love for me to come out and speak to them, I would love it more. It's because I enjoy being around people who want to grow. And so that's how you get in touch with me. And I just thank everybody for what we're all doing to make our community better. We got to work together to be better.
That's right. Okay, guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will speak with you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you.